What is up, beautiful YouTube
Hey
gang?
guys.
We are back with another great reaction video. Today we are headed into, I don't even know what we're headed into. 7 things that they have in Britain that we don't have in America.
I feel like I can name more than 7.
But we already went through what's the
But
name?
I'm
It was
excited because
like 25 or 100.
I like to hear about it.
But it's from the guy who told the story about his experience in the hospital. So he's funny.
Oh,
Like this
okay.
stuff. So I want to see what he's going to say about this whole little ordeal.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of... Oh, how embarrassing. Sorry, just a bit of force of habit there. America, land of the free, home of the endless aisles in the grocery store. But despite sometimes feeling like they've got it all, there are many things that actually manage to elude most Americans. After moving to the UK 11 years ago, it took me some time to pick up on the lingo here. Sometimes it'd be something we already have a word for in American English that I'd have to learn, like, oh, when they say rocket, they don't mean a spaceship, they mean a plane. Arugula. But there exists a certain class of item that is so ubiquitous within the UK, and yet very much not a thing in the States. These are things that it took me a really long time to wrap my head around as an American, because, well, listen, everyone knows it here, they learn this stuff since childhood, and here I am, a grown adult, and it leaves me asking, what's a toilet brush? Well, this might blow your mind as a Brit. What do you mean you don't have toilet brushes in the States? I've seen what you eat. First off, rude. Secondly,
That's what
true.
you call it, right?
But in
Toilet
America,
brush.
we always have a plunger next to the
Toilet
toilet in
cleaner?
case there's a clog. It's rare, but that's it. Toilets in America are much deeper and have much more water than British toilets do. Not only that, but from my experience, American toilets are just so much stronger than British ones. If you've ever been to America, I'm fairly certain you can attest to that. I found it odd that during a road trip in California I went on in 2022 with some British friends, my friend Luke comes out of the bathroom saying, "Why do you Americans fill your toilet bowls up with so much water? It's so full it wet my willy." Wow, I thought he was just trying to brag about the size of his peen, but no, it turns out this is a thing. Now, I'd say the idea of needing to brush away poo with a toilet brush is inevitably going to gross out a lot of Americans that have never heard of this before because, to be honest, it is pretty gross. But the most embarrassing thing about all of this is living with other British people, being a full-grown adult, and having them go, "Why has no one ever taught you how to use a toilet brush before?" And you have to be like, I didn't even know that's what that thing was in the corner. I didn't know what that was for. I thought maybe you use it like when you clean the bathroom, maybe every 2-3 weeks when you do a big clean of the house. Fair, that's what you'd use it for, not after every individual poo. But it's just, listen, I'm not used to having issues where a toilet leaves stains because American toilets don't do that. So yeah.
Oh,
That is crazy.
that makes sense.
It does. It does. It's a little strange, though. And they probably look at that strange, but that is a little strange. Like
That is
after
true,
every
though. When
usage,
there's marks still left, you don't want to see it, and then you're constantly flushing it to try to get it out, but that sometimes doesn't work. So you.
But
do
I would have
clean
to.
it.
The thing is, I would have to have cleaning supplies right there.
Like you can't just clean it
Yeah,
with
I
water.
can't- no,
Yeah,
that'd drive
I
me
think that's
insane.
what's crazy.
No, you talking
That's-
about? Yeah, no, I'm not just about to just be
But just thinking about it, like
mixing up hot soup.
I feel stop. But I just feel like I think what's getting me is that when you clean it, like you said, I need the cleaning supplies because, like,
Well, maybe they
what's
have
cleaning the
maybe
brush,
they-
like you're putting poop from the brush.
But think,
like,
think they might have better bowel movements because they do eat better than us.
well, that's probably why
They don't
theirs
They
is
probably don't need that much water.
yeah, and theirs is less harsh
Gotta
and
get scientific
bigger
over it.
holes because it's like.
Got to use that noggin.
No, I did think that when he said that though. I'm not gonna lie.
It might be a little embarrassing, but, you know, you live, you learn. Now I've got a really nice little toilet brush that tucks itself away whenever you're finished using it. So it's hidden, it's small. I like it. I think it looks better than most toilet brushes. If you're interested in mine, I'll put it in the description. But that being said,
I like
I would
theirs.
easily
Someone
trade
hates
out this terrible British toilet, every British toilet I've ever had, for an American one if I could. Or, oh my God, the luxury, the Japanese toilet. But one can dream, maybe if I ever own 100% of a house rather than just 25% of one. So, but as you probably know, I live in a flat, and the developer is definitely not going to let me swap out the toilet.
There you
So,
go.
Toilet humor. Now, number 2, if you're someone
you
with
gotta add
a
it.
uterus, it will cause you some pain, at least once a month. One thing I found odd living with so many different women in the UK is during that special time of the month, they always request one thing, a hot water bottle or a hot water bottle. Imagine my confusion the first time someone asked me for that. Like, oh, Evan, do you mind picking me up a hot water bottle when you're out? Come again? Where do I get one of those? Greg's? Like, yeah, can I get a sausage roll, a yum yum, and where do you guys keep your hot water bottles? I didn't know. Jokes aside, it turns out a hot water bottle is a bottle of water heated up and placed in a
heating
soft
pad.
fabric. They're usually sold as a whole item. It's not like you just put a
A
water
heating
bottle in
pad.
fabric. I guess you could. But some people like to place them on their stomachs during cramps, and others like to heat theirs up before putting it under the covers with them to keep them warm. Now, I personally would prefer just buying a higher tog duvet for those winter months, but that's just me. I don't get menstrual cramps, so that is my privilege. Now you might be wondering, well, what the hell do Americans use to deal with cramps? You've seen the adverts, right? Drugs, lots of drugs. But no, I asked my American audience on Instagram what they use, and I got responses like hot rice. Hot rice?
That's a heating pad.
I get that's roughly the same thing, you know, kind of malleable, but I can't imagine just going into P.F. Chang's and being like, I've got some cramps, give me that hot rice. And then you get different cramps. But no, it's basically the same thing. Instead of hot water bottle, it's like a bag of rice that's heated up and it's malleable just like water. So I guess that makes sense. Now I asked a few of my girlfriends across the pond as well as those in the UK, and my British friends pretty much unanimously did say they use a hot water bottle. Some of them said they just take a hot bath, whereas my American friends did say they either take rice, a drug called My Doll, or they use an electric heating pad, which is very similar to a hot water bottle, but you plug it in, charges it. It's more of the future, though way less energy efficient. But then again, that depends on how you're heating your water in your hot water bottle, because as a related item that is really rare in the States that may make you nod your head and go, ah, that makes sense. Americans don't really have electric kettles, so it's not really as convenient to quickly boil some water to put in your hot water bottle. I made an entire video about America's lack of electric kettles already, and the reasons, so I'll link that above. Now, Britain is a really, really rainy isle, and pretty much every Brit I've met from as young as 8 to as old as 90 owns a pair of wellies, the cute word for Wellington boots, which are quite rare in the US. Being in Britain, you're just expected to know what a wellie is, and when you're invited to go to a festival, you're told everyone there will be in wellies, but, well, I've never owned a pair.
Honestly, never owned a pair of rain boots.
Yeah.
I was so excited when we got our Centum. When we got his official like raincoat and the rain boots, like I felt like I was healing my inner child.
I feel like we don't get enough rain here though for us.
But when it did rain, they come out. So it's like it was.
But they have welly festivals. We have like cowboy boots and boots like, on the ground and people who never rode a horse wearing boots. You know. Yeah.
It's not the same.
Jeans and boots.
It's not the same.
Just doing stuff. Y'all probably do yours for that exact reason. We just do it just to do it. Some people just wear boots just to wear some boots.
Are mostly used here for country walks, which is one of the biggest British pastimes. We do have rain boots in the States, but the style of long rubber tube that's so much in Britain isn't really as big a thing. They do exist, just not as big. Now, growing up in New Jersey, I think myself and many Americans owned a pair of duck boots from LL Bean. They're also where I get like my flannels from, like this one. They're kind of like the Americana outdoorsy brand version of.
I do remember when those came out though, and some people did get them.
They're cool boots. I like them. I never owned any, but I like those. Especially the polo ones. They're very nice.
John Lewis, if that makes sense. Duck boots are like peak rainwear men's fashion in America. Though, if you've never seen them before today, I'd love to hear what you think of them, because I feel like some people probably hate the way they look, but I don't know. I think they look good for rain boots. They're rain boots, and they kind of give that nice outdoorsy vibe. But, I mean, they're a little pricier than wellies, and wellies are a much cuter name, I'll give you that. Brits always have a much cuter name. And also, from what I've heard, putting on a pair of British rain boots is well easy. So there's your bad pun. But speaking of waterproof shoes, this video sponsor, just kidding. It's not. Just false alarm. All right, I had you. All right, moving along. We're now halfway there, so if this isn't your first vid of mine, you have to click the subscribe button. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I'll be squashing any dissent. But speaking of squash, it does exist in the States. But you know, it's just a vegetable. We have some butternut squash, different types of squash, or a fruit, I guess. I mean, if you want to be pedantic, squash is technically a fruit. But squash in the UK only refers to 3 nouns. One is the same vegetable we have in the States, and the other 2 are similar enough, but also comically different if you come from a different country like I do. At this point, I'd lived in the UK for over a year or so I was staying over at a friend's house, and it turns out they had squash. I had heard Brits really love squash, so I poured myself a glass, and good lord, did I wince? You know, Brits always love bullying Americans for how sugary their food and their drink is, but Jesus, that cup of squash was so much like liquid sugar. Like, it was both thin and thick at the same time, like maple syrup, like someone condensed 2 bottles of Sunny D into a single glass. Now, I'm assuming this is a common mistake for migrants to make the move to the UK, but squash refers to not only the drink you make with squash, but also squash. So it's a bottle of concentrated sugar and fruit syrup that you mix with like 5, 6, 7 parts water, but it's also the drink that you mix together. So how was I to know I was supposed to mix, all right? You don't think someone says they drink a drink and you're supposed to like read the instructions that say mix it with things. So yeah, I drank the double concentration Robinsons. It was not nice. This is the one I just picked up from the local store. It's called Ribena.
Ribena.
Well, he must like it. He's drinking it.
And I will be honest, It's not bad. I personally just really enjoy water. I like water's my favorite drink. I know that's super lame, but also it's the best drink. So what's wrong with you if you don't like water? But this, a small amount of this really just, it gives this a nice kick. And from what I've seen, this isn't too unhealthy, so.
Too unhealthy. So
I mean, I can see the appeal of it, especially if you've got kids and they're like, Mommy, I want to drink soda. And you're like, sorry, I consider that a form of abuse. I suppose this is actually a healthy compromise. But this isn't just any ordinary squash. This is the most popular flavor of it. And in fact, one of the most popular fruity flavors in all of Britain that is practically non-existent in the States. And that, of course, is blackcurrant. Unless you've moved countries like I have, you'll never really understand the confusion that comes from seeing and hearing something all around you that seems so incredibly commonplace that you begin to question whether or not it also existed where you're from and maybe you were just living under some sort of rock. But no, Brits just love blackcurrants and they use the flavor in everything. Pies, jams, drinks, medicines, Skittles. Even the purple Skittle is actually blackcurrant flavor, which is such a shame.
So
Because
blackcurrant
is just so mid. I'm sorry, but it's just not that good. Now,
Yeah, when we tried the candy, I wasn't.
I liked it. I like the blackcurrant flavor.
It was cool.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it was good.
It's mid, like
I think
you said.
I feel like I would have to try blackcurrant alone, like something that's
Just blackcurrant.
just blackcurrant. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
But right now
But
from
when
the candy
we tried it from the
aspect,
candy, it was good. It was
mid.
good.
I like how to use mid.
Now, some of these on my list, you might say, hey, I know some Americans with wellies, or hey, I actually knew a few Americans that had hot water bottles, but blackcurrant is almost completely unknown to Americans, with less than 0.1% of Americans having even had a blackcurrant in their lives. I might actually make an entire extra video about this topic because I find it so interesting, and I think you will too, but spoiler alert, basically blackcurrants were banned in the States for many, many years, and so we found something better, the grape. Okay, we have grape flavored things.
I just said that.
And grapes
so I was like,
are
so our grape is their blackcurrant.
Grape is nasty. Grape is the worst flavor ever. I don't get the hype behind
I like
grape.
green grape.
Now I can understand. See, I'm about to add it. So I'm glad these two is on the same pedestal
I like
because
green grapes, though.
if y'all hype up blackcurrant over there, Americans hype up grape flavor stuff. Grape flavor stuff is the most nastiest.
The purple grape.
Yeah.
Because I like green grape.
No, that's the one we talking about. Purple grape.
Okay.
That's the most common one. You rarely see any other flavor grape anything. It's always purple grape.
Yeah.
It is Welch's purple grape soda. Gross. I mean, anything grape flavor is just nasty. And people in the States, oh my God,
They love it.
grape is gross. It is the worst. Grape Kool-Aid, yes, I'm black, I'm going to say it. It is nasty. It is disgusting. The worst flavor ever.
my
I'm probably
God.
they come to me and like, oh yeah, there's some grape Kool-Aid. Absolutely not. It is the worst flavor.
I can't stand
And then it tastes like cough syrup. Our cough syrup, a lot of our cough syrups come
It's
in
grape
flavor. That's what all the other stuff tastes like. Grape flavored cough syrup. It is gross.
It's like grape or cherry, but rarely
Horrible.
cherry.
Delicious. Obviously, grapes exist in the UK too, but not really the grape flavor. You cannot find many grape flavored things here, as it's been
crazy.
replaced with a worse fruit, the blackcurrant. If you never have had grape jelly before, you're missing out. Sadly,
That's the
every
only
UK
thing that's
supermarket I've ever been to,
I
they got
was
strawberry.
literally gonna say that. I was like, we get the grape Welch's jelly. Like
But
that
that's
one's
not-
actually good, but that's like the only
only thing
grape I
grape flavor
feel.
that's solid.
Like even our grapes that we buy is always green. Like I don't, or the reddish ones.
Yeah.
But that's so funny because we talked all that mess and we get
About
that.
grape. Yeah, grape jelly is like the only thing that can take a pass.
Yeah, grape jelly's good.
Grape jam. They got raspberry jam. They don't have any grape jelly. I don't know why I said it like that, but I just miss grape jelly so much. It's just got a specific flavor that's so nice. Grape soda, grape jelly, the grape Skittle. You guys don't know what you're missing out on, all right? Think about it like this.
No, they
if you
do
like
miss it.
wine, that's made out of grapes, right? You'd probably like grape flavors too, and you'd switch to being on
No,
Team
that's
Grape.
okay.
God, that was a bad pun. I just plug them in where they don't fit. Now, speaking of switching and plugs, I'm really trying with these segues, guys. We all know that British electrical plugs are superior as a feat of engineering that prevents shocks. I couldn't tell you the amount of times that I was shocked as a child, physically shocked, by unplugging or plugging in my Nintendo and whatnot. I could. It probably like at least 4 times, but I remember each of those times because I'm in formative years and I learned very early on to be very afraid of outlets. It was genuinely scary, and that's pretty much not a thing here due to how British plugs are designed. They're like butterscotch in that they're always grounded. When I told this story to my friend Luke, he looked at me like I had 3 heads and went, how is that supposed to be a shared experience?
That's
I've never been
actually
shocked.
pretty cool.
So kids here, they get to have safe outlets.
don't
Lucky
have
you.
the possibility of
But
being
what you
shocked.
might not know
That's
is those incredibly commonplace switches next to every single British outlet to allow you to cut off power specifically to that single appliance are practically non-existent in the US. Yeah, I know.
We
Another
need
reason
those.
to fear American electronics. Now, you might think having switches on outlets is a little bit extra, but there are three big perks to this. One, it's nice to have another way to turn off an appliance. Extra ways to control your home is surely going to be a good idea, right? Two, a lot of appliances these days, even when you have them powered off, still use a small amount of energy.
Yeah,
For instance,
they're still
all
on.
the smart lights I have in my house, they're always listening, whether I tell them to turn off and whatnot. So cutting the power at the outlet, if
Definitely like our air fryer. It's not on, but it's still that orange button where it's still the light is on to click on, but it's
What is
off.
it with you wanting to turn something? That's what
Because
it's for.
no, it's using electricity. The
Your
whole
microwave
time.
has a camera or a freaking clock on it that's on all night. Your
Exactly.
stove has a clock on it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying though. That's true. What he's saying.
Why
That's
you want
true
it
what he's
off?
saying.
It's doing nothing to you.
It's
nothing.
taking electricity.
It's not burning nothing. Your PG&E bill is the same with it on or
I'm
off.
just saying. He makes a point. He
Anybody
makes
who
a
go
point.
with that whole in the States, if you know PG&E bills, anybody who believe in that whole unplug, go ahead, unplug everything. I guarantee the thing that's eating your PG&E up the most is your air conditioner that's running in the summer 24/7. It ain't got nothing to do with electrical light plugged in an outlet. That PG&E is running up by that air conditioning. That's why in the wintertime when you turn it off, your PG&E drops significantly, doesn't it? Not
just
unplugging the
saying.
air fryer
I'm just
by the
saying.
light that is on.
that's what you're into, would save you a little bit of energy at least, especially during cozy lives. But the biggest reason they're mandatory in the UK is for how much safer they make plugging things in. In America, when you plug a plug-in to a powered-on outlet, as the pins get closer to where you're connecting to, you may have some electricity jumping out or arcing to connect to the pins, and other times, you hear that terrifying crackle sound as things
Yeah.
connect. I've definitely had more than one outlet in the States that ended up burned like this. But if the US kept their same plug style and everything else, but added only switches to the outlets, it would pretty much solve that problem. If the outlet is powered off when you plug in, there's no current to leap to your pins. Then you simply turn on the power, boop, with the switch, and everything's nice
That
and
would be
snug.
nice.
No arcing. Isn't that
I like
nice?
that. I like
Now,
that.
luckily for us in the UK, that is never really needed for that safety precaution because there's already two other safety precautions in place, such as having the ground pin mandatory in all British plugs and having it be a little longer so when you are plugging it in, it's always grounded. Also, insulation on the upper half of the plug. There's so many good perks
Just
for British plug.
outsmarting us.
This is one of those
Just
things where
just worried about
I'm just
people.
surprised
Worried
that
about the people.
at least in the US, they don't just adopt one extra thing, like just for safety. Plus, in the event that something goes horribly wrong and maybe someone is getting shocked from their wire, well, all you have to do is flip the switch and they're fine. As opposed to having someone pull out the wire that's currently causing shocks, not a good idea, or I guess running to turn it off the mains, which judging from the size of most American homes, well, by the time you come back, that person has been electrocuted. So it just makes sense to add switches to outlets. Now,
Yes, it
as an
makes
added
perfect
little
sense.
fact, in England and Wales, roughly 7 people die per year due to electrocution in a domestic setting, whereas in the US, that number is dwarfed by children alone dying from
Dang.
shocks. Like I said, it is very much a standard American experience to be shocked as a child. Eventually you realize maybe don't stick a fork in there.
It's like
I've never, and I'm so thankful, but I've never understood like that whole like kids stick forks and stuff inside the outlet. Like I never
it's a
understood that.
curiosity.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I've ever known anyone whose kid actually did that.
Kids are stupid.
No, they're not.
That's the best way to
But
explain it.
my thing is just put the little protector on there. And
I
can't stick
really,
nothing.
I can't fathom that America. As I sit here and watch this video, if I was like a high-powered something, as I sit here and watch, I'd be like, oh, that, like right now, we're like, oh, that sounds
Let's
great.
invent that.
Let's do that. Let's pull that
That's
over.
a great idea.
Let's bring the death rate down. 1,000 kids die from being shocked by outlets. Wow, the UK has just showed us something to bring that
7.
number down
7.
to 7. No, let's just keep doing what we're doing. Obesity is up. The UK is teaching you something. Let me take some notes on how they cook their stuff and what they're doing. No, let's just keep dying. Like it makes no sense.
It does.
Their cars are better than ours. Nope, let's keep creating the same crap we creating. And call this country great. It's making America great again.
Also, I do just want to point out that I'm not an electrician. I know being on YouTube, people expect you to know everything. I do not.
Right.
I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So there will probably be
You'll
someone
never lie.
much smarter than me in the comments that's an electrician, what do they call him here? A Sparky, who's going to give you a lot of
They
fun
call him
facts.
a
So check the
Sparky?
comment section if I've said something silly. But where exactly is my comment section anyway?
It's underneath you.
Oh, it's under me. Thanks. Well, in America, that sort of crowd involvement where you break the fourth wall in a bit It's not really something that is done ever except in like Dora the Explorer, you know, like, hey, ¿dónde está Swiper? Cerca del lago, cerca del lago. Gracias. Está allí. Yes, my Spanish is coming along okay. Thanks for asking, Dora. But besides Dora, it's really not a thing. However, over here, Brits absolutely love their pantomimes, or pantos, as they like to call them, which are really, really popular during the Christmas period. And if you thought Dora the Explorer was just some sort of fun show for children, you'd be surprised. Adults here absolutely get super involved in the pantos as well. I've seen a little panto at Kew Gardens once, and it involved a fairy, I think. In fact, I think most traditionally are based on old children's stories, but simply put, it's a performance where the cast are like, "What?" And the crowd is like, "He's right there," or "He's behind you, it's on your dress," or something like that. If I said something like, "You all subscribe to my YouTube channel," you'd say,
Oh, no, we don't.
Damn, I mean, I was hoping for, yes, we do.
Right.
But I appreciate the, reality check. That's fine. Now, I can see the appeal of being more involved in a show, but they're okay. Maybe it's because I've never been to like a real one. If you have any good recommendations for ones in London, I'd be open to hearing. But if you try explaining the concept of a pantomime to an American, they'll probably just look at you like you've got three heads, as pantomime in American English is pretty much, going to be a silent performance with mimes. At least that's what I would have thought it would be. Whereas it's quite literally the opposite of a silent performance. And assumably the American will probably also bring up Dora the Explorer. She's just that super cool exploradora. You want to know what a real panto is like?
He is amazing.
That was good.
He always breaks down. I like the way he breaks down his stuff and gives you the breakdown. But also he has the exposure
his
from the America to UK.
Are punny,
He always comes through. Yeah, he comes through. He comes through with the
Yeah.
puns. But this was crazy. That's
crazy. I think it's like true what you said. Like sometimes you think about it, like if they do it and you
It's
see
correct.
how it is, like why can't we do it over here?
America got too big of egos. They don't want to be, we copied off the UK and made something right.
Oh well, copy
I don't
and
care.
paste it.
If it worked, it worked.
Right. If it's gonna help, please.
They don't. They want to keep doing stuff. They go against the grain. America is against the grain with stuff.
They want to prove that no, we don't need it. We do.
Just keep
We
keeping
do.
your rates up. They like being in a high percentage or something. We're the greatest at doing this. We're the greatest at getting people shocked. The greatest at plugging stuff in the wall and you might just die.
It's like the worst. I think the worst is like when I pull it out and it's like the spark. I'm like, oh.
I don't even like messing with it. Like I can do some simple electrical stuff, but I don't even like messing with it because this simple fact of you can be exactly. I felt the experience of being
Definitely.
shocked, so I'm cool.
Well, this is like a video. It's always good to learn different things and know how it is in other places. So.
But as always, thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all in the next one.